What's up guys, welcome to Project Poker Vlog 14. This is where I document my poker journey right from the early stages. I started playing poker 9 months ago. I started documenting my hands on YouTube on this channel 5 months ago. So I'm very much still a beginner in the early phases. I'm playing on the side to my full-time job, so I'm sure a lot of you can relate to only being able to play poker on the weekends and then using the spare time you have. I am using my spare time that I have to look at ranges, study the game, the GTO, speak to poker player friends and get their insights and perspective on the hands to improve my game. And hopefully, as every vlog is being released, the poker being played is evolving, the mistakes being made are evolving, and the lessons that I share are evolving as well. And so if you want to tune into that journey and hopefully you can evolve as well by me sharing my lessons, my analysis, or maybe you're just interested to follow the journey, you're more than welcome to tune in. And yeah, hopefully I make it entertaining, but leave your constructive feedback. Tell me exactly what you think, and let's get into the hands. Today we continue our journey in one of the best poker rooms in London. It's Aspers Stratford. We buy in for the max, £400, take our seat and get involved almost straight away. When in the first orbit we pick up queens in the cutoff. Action is on me. There has only been a limp from the +2, and with queens of course I raise and decide on a standard size of £10. Next to act on the button sits the player with the largest stack on the table with over 1k. I have no info on him, never seen him or played with him before, and he free bets to 35 quid. So action as expected folds right back to me. The only question is how much to 4-bet to, and I instinctively go for 4 zebra chips, which is £100. In theory, our position, it arguably should be larger though, perhaps 3.5x, but button doesn't snap. He does think for about 20 seconds, then asks me,
how much are you going for?
400. Oh dear. Did not expect that. It's worrying to me because 5-bet pre-flop live, from my experience, is usually only kings plus or ace king at best. I really wish I had more info on this player type and how loosey goosey he plays. I've literally just sat down like 10 minutes ago and now I'm potentially gambling for my whole stack, and I end up telling him I've got queens to try scan him for tells, but he has gone into complete statue mode. I'm getting no read on him whatsoever, and so as the clock is ticking, pressure is mounting for me to make a decision, and I eventually decide I have to go by the general population tendency, and to me that means I'm usually no good here, and maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, eventually I find the discipline to fold. But then he shows ace 10 off. Nice. Oh, nice hand, a painful one, knowing we could have doubled up to £800 10 minutes into our session would have been the best start to any session we've ever had. But hey, we still have 75% of our stack, just gotta stay positive and try come unstuck now. As soon as we arrived, we put a transfer in to move to a table with a few of the same action happy players from the previous vlog. Do check out vlog 13 for those 2 roller coaster sessions if interested. Anyway, now my seat has become available, and on the second hand, after having just sat down on this new table, we get dealt kings on the button. Let's flip and go. The undergun £5 straddle is on as well. There is a limp from the low jack and I raise to £20. Now the small blind makes a free bet to £60, and the poker gods have given us a chance to win our money back. Action folds all the way back to me, an easy decision. Small blind has only £100 more behind and I put him all in. He snap calls. Board comes 2, 8, queen, queen, 5. Wow.
And it's only one opener.
Oh my days. I like it. That's on. So we've got a little bit more work to do now. I'm stuck £260 now. So on to the next one. All right, so we bleed out a little more before picking up the TNTs with a £130 stack behind us. 5-handed here, the action limps to me and I'm of course happy to get it all in, but I start with a £10 raise hoping to get an opportunity to 4-bet all in, which we in fact do when button raises to £30. Small blind calls and I put it all in. Button now folds, but the small blind asks for the count and gives us a spin. I think we are due here, but when the dealer lays out the ace of diamonds high rainbow flop with 9-3 following, it's probably early showers. Turn comes 8 of clubs, river comes 7 of hearts, and I show my 10s and he ends up mucking. So let's go back in the game. On to peeling one by one, ace king off in the big blind. There is a £30 all in from the first act in +2. Hijack called and fold to me. I think it's okay to call here and take it to the streets with hijack, who seem to move quite loose, but I instead opt for the aggressive route and raise it to £77. Unfortunately, no call from the hijack and the board runs out. 8, 7, 5, 3, 2. Lady shows her red TNTs and takes it down.
You protected
Triple
me.
up.
You protected me.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you.
Next up, we pick up another pocket pair, short stacked here, and we pick up the snowman in the cutoff with only £76 behind. +1 and +2 limp. Low jack raises to 15, and I go all in for my £76. Now +1 accidentally put in 15, not seeing I went all in, and folds, adding £15 to the pot for free, which we are not complaining about. And as a result of that, low jack finds the pot odds to call and gives us a spin. Board comes queen 7, 5, jack, queen. We show, and surprisingly, low jack missed, mucks, probably holding something like ace 10. We double up in a much needed time. Back up to a stack just north of 150. We pick up the big slicks, ace king off in the hijack, +1 limps. I raise to £13, only the +1 calls, heads up for the first ever time against this opponent, who my guess is he's just a recreational player as I've never seen him before. And flop comes ace queen 9 with 2 diamonds, a pretty connected board as standard. +1 checks to us, and I of course am going to c-bet here. It hits my range and my hand, thankfully we are heads up, so can size up a little, and I end up betting 20 into 26 and +1 calls. Turn comes the queen of spades. Well, we lose to any of his queen X combos in his range, but he could easily also have called on the flop with a pocket pair, a 9x combo, not to mention the draws out there. So when he checks to me again, there is now £70 in the middle, and I bet 30. Worse hands can call. He doesn't necessarily have a queen. We have an ace with a great kicker, so be it. I bet 30. +1 calls again, and now I'm going to proceed with caution on most rivers until the river comes another queen. Let's flip and go. We upgrade to a boat, and it's now less likely he has a queen, so with only 98 quid behind, and surprisingly no snap call from +1, so he doesn't have an ace, and his facial expression is one of concern, so it doesn't look like he is Hollywooding a queen, which should mean the pot is secured now. Question is just for how much. And after 1 minute of him tanking and me doing my best to just keep still and look as neutral as possible, he does unfortunately release his cards, and we move on, though being pretty happy with the way we played it and happy with our bet sizing on the flop, which is a leak in my game, is not betting large enough, but on this occasion I think we got it right, and as a result managed to extract more value than we would have previously and take down a decent sized pot. Next, we picked up a beautiful hand in 10-9 suited in the big blind and chased a flush draw, check calling him down on the turn and river, but end up missing and losing 70 quid. A few orbits go by and we have dwindled down to an £85 stack, but pick up ace king of spades first to act, so you can guess what's about to go down. I start by limping in +1 as the action player in the hijack had been punishing all limpers the entire session, and he does it again here when he raises to £10. Big blind calls, I free bet to 30. Now hijack action player, isolation raises to 130. Big blind is out of here unfortunately, and I of course call, putting me all in. Flop comes 8 to 7 with 2 clubs. Not the best start, but the turn is much better. It is the ace of hearts and the river is the 6 of diamonds. We show he mucks apparently have an ace queen off, unlucky, and double up once again back to that £150 level that we have been maintaining for most of the session. We pick up 9-7 off in the small. In a limped pot, river a full house, attempt a £75 pot size bet for value on the river, but villain doesn't bite and we make 50 quid from that one. Shortly following that, the player 2 seats to our right rivers a royal flush and will be making 1 to 2 grand as an award for being part of the top 5 best hands of the month. Mad. And with that, we move across the room to a new table with our £190 stack. The theme of today after moving tables has been picking up premiums within the first few hands, and it continues when we get the beautiful ladies in the low jack. We do have a £10 raise from the +2 to our immediate right, and I raised to £30, which is slightly too small in theory. Hijack button and initial raiser all cool, taking us 4 ways to the flop, and we just need a low one now, sitting with just 125 more behind us, and it comes just that when we see 2 jack 8 rainbow, a delightful flop ejects to me, and now we have an interesting decision to make. With a stack to pot ratio of around 1 and in a free bet pot 4 ways, how much do you see bet here? I think given our stack to pot ratio, we are pretty much pot committed now with the strength of our hand, but I'm ultimately thinking the pot is very dry and going all in might just scare everyone away and just be value earning myself. So I bet 50 to target Jack X combos, and we get 1 caller from the button, which could get us into the green now for the first time in the session, but still work to do here. We do need a clean turn, and it is with the 5 of hearts. I go all in now, given the SPR, and the button bites my hand off though, which is never a great sign, but the river is another 8, and the button shows he hit a set with his deuces on the flop. Damn, that's that. I bust for session. As always, I like to take away the little I can from the hands I play and share the lessons with you guys, and although I think this outcome was pretty unavoidable, I just think it's a cooler, but I do still want to highlight that pre-flop I should have free bet higher for value to like 40. As for the flop, after speaking to some much more experienced and better poker players than myself, it didn't really matter whether I see bet 50% pot or go all in, as the outcome is pretty much always the same. With my stack size and overpair, I'm pot committed there, although I have to say at the time I felt very different about my C bet on the flop and that it was potentially too large, but for sure that was just me being results orientated. But nonetheless guys, we move on from that session with no need to cash out, as I've got nothing left. Folded queens against ace 10. I mean, against the average 1-2 player, I don't think it is a terrible decision. Maybe I just need to go for it and maybe flip against ace king, but I think a lot of the time they're going to have aces or kings there. And you know, today I ran bad, yes, but at the same time there was the queen's hand at the end where I could have made a smaller bet on the turn. I'm short stacked, maybe I'm going to get it in regardless. What can you do?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, mate. See you live.
That's the spirit.
Alright, we start session 2 with a fresh £400 stack, and for the first significant hand, we get involved with ace 2 of spades, lose 50 quid to ace queen on an ace high flop. Shortly following that, the short stack to our immediate right in early position goes all in, £79 effective. I snap call with the hooks and even spike a set on the river for good measure, and we are back in the green. Now we pill a6 of hearts first to act, and only the big blind makes the call, who for a bit of context, it was his second or third time playing poker, he told me, at the casino. So flop comes ace jack 3 2 spades. Not bad at all. Now big blind decides to lead though for £15, which from the little experience that I do have, he probably has a similar hand to ourselves. Top pair a lot of the time with a mediocre kicker, potentially on a flush draw, but whatever it is, I don't think it is very strong. I do end up just making the call though. Let me know what you think about raising here, because I think that is also an option. Turn brings in the 4 of clubs. Should be a safeguard. Now big blind slows down and checks, which is interesting. I bet 25 and he quickly calls. River is the 8 of hearts. So now all straight and flush draws have missed, and big blind leads for a small bet of £20. I feel like this is just a block bet by him, and he's trying to get thin value from perhaps our marginal hands. And to me, I think he probably has an ace, but we are probably out kicked if that's the case. So with that in mind, I try get him off a bare ace with a £75 bluff. Big blind thinks for about 20 seconds and he makes the call. Ends up showing ace 8 off for 2 pair on the river. Nice hand. Can't help but think if he didn't spike the 2 pair on the river, I think the bluff might have worked. So I don't know how to feel about my play there. I don't think it's too bad, but let me know what you think, and we move. Shortly following that, we pick up another low suited ace combo, the lowest one that there is. Get 2 streets of value out the small blind on an ace high flop, 3 ways, and profit just over 60 quid from that one. Then we pick up beauty in 10 jack of spades in position, 3 ways, but fold to a strong river bet behind us and lose 60 quid to a set of jacks. Now action is on me in the big blind with ace jack off. We face a £10 open from the hijack, which got called by cutoff and small blind. I'm out of position and raised to 40, which is definitely too small here. Maybe I wasn't paying full attention to the total number of callers. Anyway, only the hijack calls, so it still works out to go heads up. Hijack, for a bit of context, was the same player who bluffed me for my entire £400 stack in vlog 12 on the river. I'm pretty sure he's a reg. So here we go, 100 quid in the middle to a flop of 7-4-6 rainbow. Not the best of flops for either of our ranges, I believe. So make the check and he checks behind. Turn makes the board more connected now with a 5 of hearts, but still shouldn't hit his range as the pre-flop initial raiser. And now I check again and he stabs at the pot with a £25 bet. I make the call for another 25 with 125 already in the pot. I might just be getting the implied odds to call if an ace or jack comes. So onto the river, and now the jack of spade comes. So I should be good now. I just make the check and he checks back and shows queens. So that's that. Nice hand. Looking back, I probably should be thinking a little bit more about his bluff to value combo ratio when he stabbed the turn. How many of his hands in his range do I actually beat? Maybe ace 10, but not too much else when I really think about it. So I think that is something to take away from this hand when facing a similar situation in your local 1-2 game. We move. In the hijack now, we pick up king queen suited. £5 undergun straddle is on. One player calls the straddle and I raise to £20. The player to my direct left has a stack of £110 and he raises to 50. For £30 more, I just make the call, cross my fingers, we are heads up to the flop, which comes 6 jack 7 and most importantly 2 hearts. Let's go. It's what we like to see, and now it plays itself out. I check, he bets 30, I call, turn nice as us with the 2 of hearts. He bets 20, I put him all in for £15 more. He of course calls, river is irrelevant, it's the 4 of spades, and we drag in a decent one as we show and he mugs. When you min raised me, I knew I was in trouble, but I just have to call.
You're a decent player, man. You've been grinding all that.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, we peel kings in the small blind, go heads up and win a small 30 quid pot and go to cash out for another loss of £164. A lot of losses recently, but for those of you who are also trying to become a winning player and perhaps even in a similar position to myself with a full-time job on the side and still in your first couple of years of playing, just remember the goal is to lose the minimum and win the maximum, and not to be too put off by the results. Study and practice can only make you better, so keep at it, as if it was easy, everyone would be winning, and just trust and enjoy the process. At least that's what I tell myself anyway. I think I made some okay plays. Can't be too results orientated at the end of the day, which I am quite prone to. But anyway, guys, hope you took something away from that session and enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one, guys. Appreciate your support. I am out. It's 2 a.m. Need to get home, need some sleep. Peace. Cheers for watching. And one last thing, I do just want to quickly recommend, in case you're very much a beginner, I just want to recommend a few resources. I'm definitely going to recommend Phil Galfon's channel on YouTube. Split Suits channel is good, but mainly for his book, in my opinion. This book here they released on pre-flop maths is highly recommended if you want to learn the maths. And also, of course, Peter Clark, Carrot Corner, free content on YouTube. Sensational. But yeah, guys, that's if you're interested in some free resources, I'm just pointing you in the direction that I wish I was pointed out when I didn't have anyone to point me in any direction. So hopefully that's valuable.